First step is to turn this thing off. Second step, turn this to rinse. Third step is going to be to undo this union. This is the return into the pool. So none of that stuff can get back fed in, like happens every time after you take your filter apart. Okay, I just undid that union and slipped some piece of paper bag in there, just because, but there was no big deal. Now nothing is going to go backtrack and come out your return. Now you can drain it. And there's a pipe I put up. I put a little pipe up to it. No big deal. All right. While it's draining, open this to make it go faster. Time to undo this stupid thing. But give it a few taps. It helps when you're getting it back on too. More on that later. All right, does this look backwashed to anybody? Seriously? A lot of crud is on here. Doesn't come off unless you take it apart. Look for these handles. Lift here. There's two of them. Just lift it straight up. There's an O-ring that goes onto this pipe. It's going to just pull everything nice and straight up. Well, I'm going to need two hands for this again. As you turn this, you have to put your other hand in there and kind of hold on to the thing so it doesn't turn, so you can get the nut off. Do yourself a favor, get a bucket, a little bit bigger than a 5-gallon bucket, and get this thing, put it upside down in the bucket. Make sure you mark short on here. As you'll see on the other side, it says a short element here. But mark it on here too so you can see it. Next, we're going to just take all these things apart and hose them down. Preferably with this part upside down, so the stuff can drain out of it. You don't get the crap going back in. Stand by. Okay, that was no big deal. You just take these things out and just line them up, and you're ready to clean. Hey, does this really look like it was backwashed? Are you kidding me? Look at all this stuff. Clean all these things. Anyway, clean both sides really good. Here's the one I just cleaned. Here's one I didn't clean. What the heck is all this stuff? Miles of bugs and junk, who knows what it is. But backwashing, you can't do this. Just doesn't. After messing with these stupid things and going crazy how to get them back together, this is the best way that I've found. As you can see, this is the shorter one. All the rest of them look that size. So, you know, it's easy enough to tell. Take the short one. All right. And just put it in, you know, curved side faces out, obviously. And just twiddle it around till it goes in. Okay, it's there. Now, just start balancing these things so the thing doesn't tip over on you. Like, there's weight on that side, so now we'll go to this side with another one. And it's easy enough because, you know, see, these have slots. So you just find the slot, and it's going to find its spot. So I say, there. And I'll just do a few more and come back to it. All right, got a few more in here. Remember, this curved side is always back towards you. And you get something like this, and you're just going to have to slip it in, like this. Okay, they're all in there now, and they have some give. See, these things move around, which makes the next step a little harder, but it's still the easiest way. But see, it's in its, you go around, you check, make sure each one is in its notch there. It will be, because the inner notch just makes it line up anyway. Next thing, you take this. We don't need the rod in there right now. these things fit onto here. So you're going to take this, line it up with that opening, and set it on top. Okay? Now you're going to fidget around with the thing until they go into place. And sometimes it happens faster than you think. Stand by. And you see how that thing ends, and you see how that, see, this knows it wants to be there. That's like a stopper for it. So you line it up with that one. And then next, there's another one over here. You know, you just want to line these things up. And you just do this with a few of them, and I'll tell you what, the whole thing will guide itself into place. Okay, that only took like about 15 seconds. Not even. But I want to show you what I'm talking about. See how that goes against the stop? That goes against the stop. That goes against the stop. They all do, all around there. Doesn't take that long. Once you get them to do that, when you're finagling them, you'll see it just go, you know, see what it did? It lined up everything. They're all lined up. Lining up the inner ones will automatically line up all the outer ones. And now you go around and you see it's right where it wants to be. It's in that groove, every one. So just check every one out. Make sure before you go back together. Just check them all out that they all have their own little notch. You'll know because this will fit down flat. It won't be riding up on anything. And this is the way it looks now from the bottom. It's okay for these to just be hanging out here like that. They're not connected to anything because this one's connected in there. This one just floats. It's normal, all right? You see all these ones just kind of floating down. It's okay, they're hooked at the top. They just come down, and that's the way that they sit. Now you're going to take this thing and put this in. This is the side you put in here. And you just look down through there, all right, and get that thing through the hole. Once again, can't film this part because I'm by myself. Maybe in the future I'll set up a tripod or something next time around. But anyway, what you have to do now is grab it with your hands firmly. Just put pressure on it. Grab it from the top and, you know, tip it a little bit. Put your hand under there and grab it from that. And just kind of take the whole thing and tip it over onto its side. I'm going to do that right now. You're going to put pressure on both ends, holding it together while you pick it up and just flip right over. Notice I'm holding on to this thing. You get your hand down inside there more, you know, and you hold on to it so it doesn't slip. And while you're holding this thing right here with one hand, with the other hand, you're gonna put the top back on. You can gently rest it on its side and get a wrench here while your other hand tightens the wing nut. You don't have to crank it down too tight, but just snug it up good. Rinse this out as good as you can. Check this O-ring out. If it needs replacing, replace it. Put grease on it. Yeah, the same goes for that thing. But it usually doesn't really need much of anything, except some spraying off. Good time to drain the pump and clean the basket and all that sorts of stuff, and then take your hose and back spray it up and through here and through there with the valve in different positions and stuff, and just see if there's any other crap that wants to wash out of there. Get everything nice and clean. All right, that thing's all cleaned up and put back together, and gonna put the drain plug back in, and then after that, take this guy and lower it in. Well, I'm gonna clean this up a little bit first too, and put some gunk on it, and then you lower it down very slowly and straight while you're looking at it, so it goes down over that so it catches the thing just right. And then the thing will just rest on the bottom. A tip on putting this thing back together. This, again, now this has helped a lot. I don't have any leaks ever when I do it this way. So, you know, you just want to bang this in a little bit towards each other. And it doesn't stop there. After you put your bolt in, you're tightening things down, you come over and you give some gentle taps to this. You'll see there'll be some uneven spacing as you begin to tighten. What you're going to do with the hammer is just tap it into place so everything looks even. And each time you do that, this thing is going to be like easier to turn again because it's just made the thing closer together. So just keep doing that as you go around, as you tighten, before you get to 12 foot-pounds. All right, gauge is still in rinse. This is still closed. I'm going to keep it in rinse. I'm going to flick that switch right after I open this, nice and quickly. I'm going to open that and then hit the switch, so I still have as much of a prime as possible. I had filled this up with a hose before putting this back together, which always helps. Stand by. Okay, I did that. It took a little while for the water level to get up in here till it was even able to rinse. Let that run for a bit, shut it down, and I put it in the filter position. And before I add the stuff to it, of course, I have to turn it on. So let's give it a shot. And we'll come over here, and we will notice that there's no crap coming out, except air, just air bubbles. Now, in the past, no matter how I would do this, the bottom would get filled with all sorts of junk, you know, because it gets caught, it siphons backwards in the pipes and everything else. So this is the way I do it. The pool will be perfectly clean afterwards. Now I'm just going to add the filter stuff. Now all that's left is adding the filter stuff again. I use that, what's it called? It's a DE substitute. Cellulose stuff. They have it at Leslie's. Just stir that around with your hand, won't even hurt anything. I'm going to start the system back up and just slowly pour the bucket in until it's done. Okay, everything's all set. The system's back up and going. The gauge is lined up with the green right there, right where it's supposed to be, and it'll probably stay like that for the rest of the summer. It's the middle of August. No, it isn't. It's the middle of July. Don't rush me. But it'll last, especially now that the water's all perfectly clear. This is so nice. Now, in the past, when I've taken that thing apart, you know, if I didn't finagle the multi-valve position and take that thing apart and do it exactly just the way I did it, you know, when it filled up, I'd get up, oh crap, all over the bottom. There and there, you know. It'd show up, it would look like, I don't know, like sand.